It's March 8th, 2015, and we want to know, is Dr. Fate's newest magical attack just tossing his helmet at everything?
Does Ray Palmer want to be the very best, like no one ever was?
All this and more is coming up next. It's Season 2, Ep 22 of DCR, starting now.
This day, we rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
Distress Citizens Radio.
Buongiorno, and welcome everyone back to another episode of the DCR. I, of course, remain your host on this awkwardly timed Wednesday release. I have no idea what's happening around me. I am Sean Lamont, comic book reader extraordinaire, and I am joined by my co-host in crime, the Punmeister General, the eminence of comics, the guy who's just like, come on, let's move it along because we got shit to do, Mr. Brian Glein. Hello, sir.
I don't swear like that, but you know.
I'm a sailor. You know what? That's the worst part is my normal, just if I'm shooting the crap with people, I cuss on occasion quite a bit. And due to the kids in the show, I try so hard not to cuss. But occasionally it slips out. It slips out.
You see, teaching for about 4 or 5 years, I kind of built this whole alternate way to swear that didn't involve any swearing, and it's just sort of stuck with me.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I believe quirky is one of my words now, as well as just goofy. Not as much emotional punch in either one, really.
All those fork and spoon raspberries.
But that's it for this time. We had to give Kelly a little bit of a breather since we're doing some marathon recording sessions here. So, Brian, why don't you tell the lovely people what we're going to be doing here?
We're going to be spoiling every book that came out this past Wednesday.
Of course, this past
Wednesday
on March 5th.
On March 5th in the new 52 line for DC Comics.
Yes.
We're going to be giving away plot beats and points and other things that Sean normally says. Character motivations and stuff.
Not Come on, guys. It's not that difficult.
What's my motivation? Tell me.
Your motivation is to get the proper information out there so that the listeners understand that the books will be spoiled, and that way we are safe, and we don't have to worry about people writing to us and saying,
Mark Moonrider, what's my motivation? I don't know, beautiful dreamer, or is it dreamer beautiful? We're not quite sure still.
But so you guys know, you are properly forewarned. As we said last time, we are going to be skipping over questions for at least the next, I want to say next 2 episodes after this one.
X episodes.
I would say the next 2, and after that we should be caught up and back on track. And once we do, we will get back to your questions. But without any further ado, let's jump forward into this week's books.
Boom. All right, we are starting off with Swamp Thing 40.
We're starting off with sadness what we're starting.
Nothing but sadness. Yeah.
This is the exact same Swamp Thing where Atreyu's horse sunk down into the swamp, and it was sad.
The end of Shadow of the Colossus, everybody. Nothing but sadness. Swamp Thing has freed all of the past avatars of the Green. You know, your Cossack and dinosaur Swamp Things
of course.
And whatnot.
Don't forget the dinosaurs.
You can't forget the dinosaurs.
Topiary Rex needs representation.
Yes. So he's called all of them out to help him and Abby Arcane fight the combined forces of the Machine Queen and her machine realm, the Rhythm, along with Anton Arcane, the Gray, and a mind-controlled Guarev.
You know, 1 or 2 people.
Yeah. So they find the weird soppy gobface Alec Holland monster, and he tells them to go out to the Gobi Desert for one last big battle and then kills himself. Because he demonstrates what they're going to do to Swamp Thing by squishing his own head.
Yes.
Because he's not the brightest.
Not at all. Bizarro Stormy, show him how serious we are.
Yep. So there's a big battle happens, and it's pretty cool. We find out that Guarev has Dalsum powers. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, or it's just a miscolor, but hey, either way, it looks cool.
Can he breathe fire?
I didn't see that.
Can he do the yoga punch?
He can do the stretchy.
Yoga punch.
He can do the stretchy
yoga
punching.
Punch.
And that's cool enough. So the classic Swamp Thing joins up with him in the...
And then Blanca jumps out of the trees and goes...
Yeah.
Oh, you should...
Yes.
Are you kidding?
And then Charlie shows up right next to Dalsum, and it's like, wait, weren't you supposed to be the same person? How are you on this? Oh, no, it's all messed up.
Tangent
indeed. So our Swamp Thing needs to be able to take a breather. Like, old Swamp Thing takes over. Our Swamp Thing has to go take a breather because there is... While his other... like cohorts are off curing the green. Like there's no way that they can win until the green is back at full power.
Sure.
And if they kill him, then everything's lost. So he has to kind of go duck out. So he goes and crashes through the window of a library off in Philadelphia somewhere. And he goes, oh God, where can I hide? Where can I hide? Where can I hide? Okay, not by those two. They're filming a video for the internet. I don't want to be near that. What can I do? Oh, books. Books are made out of paper. I will just hide in the paper of this book. Okay. It's like wood, right? Plants. Yes, that's what this is. So he goes and he hides in there, and we get this, really cool, like 2-page spread. It's just like a prose, like Lord of the Rings style explanation of what is happening in the battle in the desert.
Yes.
You know, talking about people falling off horses, what they rename the horses when someone else gets on top of the horse.
What
people's swords being picked up and being renamed, different things in the battle.
You gotta rename these things. I mean, you gotta claim it for yourself.
Yeah.
You do that by naming it.
Mm-hmm.
Is this also the introduction of another realm?
Yes, I was about to get there because as he merges in with the, he does this cool thing where he takes on the properties of where he's at. So he's a Swamp Thing made entirely out of like book pages. Pretty awesome.
Quite.
And he meets what appears to be the avatar of the arts, who is composed of like pages and music and Da Vinci's Notebook and Guernica, which is the best.
Yes.
And there's like little bits of Starry Night flying around it.
And he's wearing overalls with paint stains on them.
Mm-hmm.
And
glasses, hair tied back in a ponytail.
I mean, if he's going to be the avatar of the arts.
With a scrunchie. Oh.
You're never going to be the prom queen avatar of the arts.
Yeah. Every damn episode we bring that up. All right. So he explains how not everyone might be getting. The avatar introduces himself or itself as like, yeah, how do you like that story that's being written? Not everyone gets the same thing out of every story. People kind of interpret things different ways. So I'm just wondering if you're enjoying it.
Yep.
Like that's kind of amusing. Then he said, "There's like, wait, how can this be a place?" It's like, well, if machines can have their own realm, why can't the arts have their own realm? Look, there's Alan Moore over there. There's a guy that might be Charles Soule on a laptop down there. And then there's also other famous artists, kind of poking around. We just sort of live here and exist here. And look, everything gets its own little representative.
What's up with the Playboy area? It's tasteful. It's art.
Yes. Have you read the interviews in there? They're very insightful. So what he does is he offers Swamp Thing the option of just staying there. And hey, you want to just talk about your story? It's a really interesting story. People love talking about you. You want to just hang out here and talk about it?
Matter of fact, like every month, there's these two guys that just keep raving and ranting about what you're doing. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, why don't you just let someone else finish everything? Wouldn't that be novel? That would be an interesting take, wouldn't it? He's like, well, I don't know about that. He's like, no, I've got to do what's right. He's like, well, okay, you can go ahead and leave and try to finish your story, but you don't have many pages left. He just flat out says that. Yep. Love it. And so Swamp Thing goes off to finish the battle.
Did you get a vibe that was Charles Soule? Like, well, we could just keep this book going even after I finish, but would it be the same if it wasn't me telling the ending? But there's not that much room left for me to do a proper ending, so we're just going to have some prose over here to kind of fill in some of the middle section. Yeah. That's kind of the vibe I got from it. I was like, that's kind of a cool little
it's an interesting
subtext.
Yeah. Like if that's the only way you can do it, it's at least an interesting take on it.
Yeah.
So he goes back and the tides turn as the Cedar sacrifices himself. He was one of the other former avatars that came up, a past villain. If you haven't been following along, he sacrifices himself to kill the Mushroom Lady. Guarev gets freed. He's one of the human, not avatar, like disciples of the Green.
Yeah, disciples is a good word.
Yeah, kind of like how Animal Man was, sort of. And so, with him freed, Brother Jonah and Capuchin are able to cure the Green a lot faster. All the avatars get their full power back. Anton Arcane turns tail and runs away to fight another day, like he always does.
Mm-hmm.
He's the
see what happens.
He's the Koopa King of the Swamp Thing world.
And we see what happens to him at the end of the Future's End
Yes,
issue.
yes.
Which actually works as the real ending of this war.
Yeah, so you can go back and read the end of that.
Yep, nice little circle back.
Still never going to find out who the person was in the red, though.
Nope.
I know who I want it to be, and that's all that matters. So Swamp Thing then flat out murders the Machine Queen. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to kill you.
Yeah,
nothing good's going to come from you.
It's easier. I can't leave a Lady Weeds laying around like that. It's just very uncleanly.
So he has so after the battle, Green wins. After the battle, Swamp Thing has the Justice League scrub down her fortress, and I guess Cyborg is able to condense all of the rhythm down to just like a little Aibo robot dog, which is pretty adorable. And he plugs into an electrical outlet in some hidden location. He says, okay, there's a phone jack right there next to your electrical cord, but don't you plug back in until you're ready.
Yeah, until you believe you can play well with others, don't come back out.
Giving you a lot of leeway here.
But he even says, if you come out too early and you start causing a ruckus, I'm going to be here.
So then Swamp Thing retires to the swamp along with Abby, Arcane, and Guarev and decides to do some reading because he was inspired by the Avatar of the Arts. And he takes in Gabriel Garcia Marquez's masterpiece, 100 Years of Solitude, which according to Wikipedia is a story of magical realism that has to do with a city that is doomed to be destroyed and uses a lot of symbolism of colors. And Swamp Thing kind of reads it and just
Batman?
goes, So Swamp Thing just kind of reads it and goes, huh. And that's the end.
Huh.
Yeah.
I still love the way this thing ended.
Yeah.
It's such a unique ending for this book that's had so many unique ideas in it. I know it was pulling from a lot of the previous stuff that's come out in the Swamp Thing books, but they've been so, I don't want to say low key, maybe not as mainstream appreciated, even amongst comic readers.
Yeah.
Obviously the Saga of Swamp Thing is kind of the big one that everyone knows, Alan Moore's one, and then after that everyone's like, and then he did stuff, and
yes.
I think he went to Gotham once and tried to take it over, and then he went back to doing stuff again, probably fighting corporations and their pollution, I'm assuming.
He fights everything, I've been told.
I have been told that before. But no, it's this nice little unique take on this character, I think.
Yeah, and as someone who never read any of the other stuff, I thought it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
And I followed along just fine without knowing any of the other stuff.
Do you has it inspired you to go back and check out any of the other stuff?
I don't know. I'm reading so many other comics. It's hard to go back and do that kind of stuff
I ordered
anymore.
Saga of the Swamp Thing, so I can
okay, so
read that.
I'll borrow yours when you're done.
After
I'm done with the other gigantic stack of stuff I'm trying to read.
I know. We're kind of prisoners of our own enjoyment at the moment.
Yeah. Wait till Convergence.
But a round of applause for Mr. Charles Soule,
yes.
I think. Well done. I think he did a wonderful job, especially picking it up after Snyder and how high the stock was on this book at that point, where it was like, who's going to follow this up with Swamp Thing and do something that anyone cares about? They should have. This is really, really good. So,
yeah.
And it was a complete story from beginning to end. I have another complete story from beginning to end, and in this case, we're dealing with the end because it is the last issue of Aquaman and the Others, number 11. And if you haven't gotten this vibe, we are coming to the end of the New 52. This month is the last issues of all of the quote-unquote New 52 issues. Obviously, the continuity continues after Convergence. We'll talk about it later at some point in the next couple weeks, but these are kind of the endings for a lot of these books where they're standing. And obviously, Aquaman and the Others, it's ending. It's not continuing on whatsoever because they were facing off. Do you remember who all is on Aquaman and the Others team?
Aquaman?
Yes.
Some others.
Okay.
No, there was a jungle girl. There was a guy.
I have to laugh.
A guy who saw ghosts.
Yeah.
There was
Shaggy was there. Yes.
Yes.
Some guy that saw ghosts.
I thought it wasn't him.
No, it wasn't.
Not that Shaggy.
No,
okay.
no.
All right. There was. God, I can't even. Vostok, our
Yeah,
buddy Vostok, who is not at all stealing his idea from a very popular independent movie from a few years ago.
Nope. Here, let me help you out.
Yeah.
We have Aquaman, his girlfriend Mara.
Okay.
Not wife, remember, because that's the whole big thing. POW, your guy that can see the ghosts of all the fellow soldiers that have died around him. Operative, the really, really old guy that is a super spy that has his artifact that helps him jump around all over the place. Yawara, aka Jungle Girl, that I have to laugh because even in this issue, that's what all of the villains of Mayhem refer to her as, is Jungle. Hey, what's Jungle Girl over there doing? And I was like, Brian, are you part of Mayhem? And then, of course, Vostok.
I'm always fighting down Matt Tracker, Scott, and T-Bob.
Oi. And then they've been fighting off against the Russian-inspired Cheshire, KG Beast, NKV Demon, Maelstrom, Stranglehold, Braze, and Vostok?
NKV Demon.
I know. But they're all fighting because the Mayhem had gotten their hands on a Russian nuclear satellite and had launched one of the missiles without any guidance. They don't know where it's going, because the others had come in and destroyed the guidance system on it. So they just went, I don't know, just shoot it and it'll go somewhere. And they're all fighting each other, and even POW's like, hey, odds are it's probably just gonna detonate harmlessly in the ocean, leaving Aquaman and Mara to be like, and he's like, ow. Yeah, probably wrong team for me to say that. Kind of cute. I enjoyed that part. But as the team struggles, Vostok, back on the moon base, who was kind of working with Mayhem. He has some history with them. Remember, he was the genetically engineered Russian cosmonaut. That was his whole thing, but they made 4 of them, and his was the one raised in a bad home to make him tough, put some hair on his Russian chest. And he goes, well, I still don't want to nuke people, so if you guys just send me the codes, I will actually re-divert it so that the targeting system comes back online and it does not hit anywhere. And they hem and haw about what they're going to do, and finally they send him the codes to it, and he turns it around, heads it straight back towards the moon base where he's sitting. And the others in Aquaman are able to beat down Mayhem, tie them all up and everything. There's actually this very funny scene where Cheshire and Aquaman are fighting, and Cheshire is like, I pulled Aquaman, this is going to be easy. And Aquaman is like, do you know how many times I hear that? Do you know how many times I was trying to be nice and not break any of your bones, but no more, and it's just like a page and a half of him just slapping around Cheshire like a cat with a ball of yarn. I guess it would be the opposite, like a porpoise.
Catfish with a
catfish
with a ball of seaweed.
Sure, there you go. That works. So they all get tied up, and Yawara figures out that Vostok has turned the missile on himself and is going to kill himself as well as the base. And goes back there and tries to talk him out of it. And there's actually a really touching scene where he's going, look, I got less than nothing. I was genetically engineered to be a cosmonaut for a space program that doesn't exist in a country that isn't there anymore. My entire life, I was created for everything that does not matter right now. So I figured it'd probably be easier if we just blew me up with the base. And as they're arguing, all we see is the panel pull back, and then the missile hits the base and it explodes. Baja boom. And then we kind of jump forward to the couple days later where the team is all on the Aquaman yacht, the Aqua yacht, and they're all trying to figure out what they're going to do, and then everyone's going to kind of split off and do some R&R. Everyone's kind of going their own separate ways for a little bit, surely to be called back when the next, I guess, international waters crisis strikes again. And we do get to see that Vostok was pulled out and has a sweet, not space helmet, but motorcycle helmet in the same design as what he had, at least, inspired by it. And Operative gave him a whole bunch of money so that he can ride his motorcycle around the U.S. and find something to live for in the modern day. And they're like, yeah! And they jump up in the air, and it's a freeze frame.
Yeah.
And the credits roll.
Can't do the end of the series without the freeze frame.
Yeah,
jump.
exactly. Yeah. Again, it's it had good ideas. It just felt serviceable. And I know that comes across as a negative connotation. It shouldn't be whatsoever. It was an amusing story. It didn't blow my socks off. It didn't expand my mind. It didn't make me absolutely adore any of these characters. But reading the story from beginning to end, there was a story there. It entertained me, and it got me to a resolution point. So it's hard to really critique it and be like, oh man, they messed this whole thing, because they didn't. It was absolutely serviceable. I just don't want it to come across as a negative connotation. If these characters interest you, if you want to follow their adventures, here's a couple of adventures they went on, and that's kind of what this book is. So if that's up your alley, give it a shot.
Yeah.
Next up.
All right. Infinity Man and the Forever People, number 8. Dreamer Beautiful has a dream.
Is it about being beautiful?
That one day, Mark Moonrider will be killed by the Furies. So they go to stop the Furies. But the Furies kill Mark Moonrider. No.
But he has that megaton touch.
Yeah, didn't seem to have it during that battle.
No.
So there's also, I need to tell you, the Furies were graffiti last issue.
Yes, they came out of the walls.
They popped out of the wall like that old episode of the Jim Henson Hour. That's the deepest
I forgot
cut.
about that, man.
Bobby McFerrin was there. He's like, doop, 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 and then...
Wee-doop, boop, wee-doo.
No one's going to know what we're talking about. So there's a big battle where everyone fights with their poorly defined superpowers, and Viking hits people with his mother box that looks like a travel light bright.
Hey, why not?
And then Dreamer Beautiful shows up and reveals that she has the anti-life equation inside of her and brings Mark Moonrider back to life with anti-life. And it's the Grant Morrison, like loneliness plus alienation plus fear divided by despair.
Okay, carry the
etc.
one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I got taxes.
Oh man.
I must have done something wrong here.
Yeah, so it's that version of the anti-life equation. And for some reason, Lord Agog was there, but it's just the priest that thinks he's Lord Agog.
Yes,
or something.
and he's the one that's trying to resurrect Baba Yama or whatever his name is.
And so he sees that she has the anti-life, and he disappears into the graffiti and rubs his hands together.
I'm going to say Baba Lama.
Yeah,
he wants to resurrect Baba Lama.
Baba Yaga in her like chicken foot house.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so in the epilogue, guess what? Bringing people back to life with anti-life causes them to leak black Kirby dots.
Whoops.
So, way to go there, Mark Moonrider.
That's awkward.
Yeah, just
that's like that horrible party situation where you're like sitting there on the couch and you get up and you've left black Kirby dots all over the place. You're like, oh no.
Oh man.
How am I going to explain this one? Does anyone have any
Kirby adult
water?
Anyone have any Kirby adult diapers I could be wearing? Granny Goodness gets her Furies back to prepare them for a big war. Perhaps a crossover that might be happening
Perhaps
later.
a war against the Anti-Monitor or something along those lines.
Maybe. And then Big Bear gets visited by the Infinity Man, and he says he's going to explain everything because there's only one issue left.
No, I think that was it, wasn't it? Or
It said next issue.
Okay, so there is one more.
Maybe they missed one somewhere.
I think this one got delayed from last month into this month, so apparently by end of the month we'll get another one out there that's like, hey, I'm explaining everything. Yeah. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. That whole scuba side plot was taken care of, so we don't have to worry about it. What are you thinking of, man? Are you still just kind of like not really?
I don't know. Okay. I just don't know.
It feels old school.
It's very old school, but I'm not sure if it's in the charming way that like a Batman 66 is.
Okay, fair enough. You know? That's a fair assessment. Yeah, it's obviously aimed at a particular audience type. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a mass appeal book whatsoever.
I mean, they're pretty sure they knew that from the get-go.
Yeah. I don't think there was any delusions that everyone was going to go running out to buy Infinity Man and the Forever People, period. Yeah. Let alone everyone outside of that little niche. So
I remember really liking the Future's End issue. It had some promise.
Yeah.
But, it seems like there's just so much. Does it want to be a wacky comedy book? Does it want to deal with like deep mythology of the new gods?
Why can't it do all that?
I don't know.
Why you gotta smote it for trying to do all of that?
Well, yeah, it tried to do all of it and it came across very uneven, and I wasn't quite sure what to make of it.
Okay. Fair enough. Not that there would be any segue from that to where I'm going, but Earth 2 World's End number 22 is our next book. Why are you shaking your head?
Hey, you're the one that said that, not me.
Where we're dealing with the end of Earth 2 and as it's being attacked by Apocalypse and consumed. In this place, kind of literally, all of the plates of Apocalypse have surrounded Earth 2 and are now attempting to encompass the planet itself so that they can go nom 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 and eat Earth 2 inside of Apocalypse. But Captain Planet, aka Alan Scott, has used all of the powers of Earth, Wind, Air, and Fire, and is going to erect a giant shield using the power of the Earth around it to try to keep all of these plates from actually consuming the Earth. Go, Captain Planet. Sure. Yeah. On Amazonia, though, Barda and Calabac are leading the forces of Apocalypse in there to try to kill off the last of the World Army troops that are holed up there. Most notably, Jimmy Olsen and the Dr. Robot Man that's there and their little weird crew that they have going on. And they try to fight back, including Jimmy Olsen, who harnesses the power that was given to him by the Mother Box when he gave birth to a Mother Box. It's go back if you want to figure.
I imagine it was similar to when Kramer passed a stone.
It's very similar. But when Calabac goes to take a giant bite out of him after Jimmy Olsen blasts all the armor off of Barda, he finds out that it isn't actually Jimmy Olsen, just Jimmy Olsen, normal human being. When he passed said Mother Stone, he is now a new god. So Earth 2 Jimmy Olsen is a full-blown new god now.
Okay.
Sure. Does that mean he has to go to Earth 0 and kill his counterpart like Jet Li, and there can be only one because of the whole thing?
I don't know.
I don't know how this works either, and
It's
I don't
very
think anyone's
confusing.
really thought that far ahead in
Okay.
this story, so
All right.
I guess I don't know if this Jimmy Olsen is going to leave this Earth 2. I'll kind of leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this is kind of the elevation and the destruction of Earth 2 Jimmy Olsen.
I
don't
see.
know.
Gotcha.
Or they'll take the powers away by the end. I just don't
Yeah.
see him leaving this as a new god and
No.
just trouncing around. But if they do, and they make that a book, I may be the first one in line to buy it. I'm just throwing that out there. So, on board the spaceship, the giant Ark Endurance, where Sloane and all the rest of them are at trying to figure out what they're going to do. Remember, Apocalypse just shot all those missiles and laser beams at them right at the end of the last issue? They were trying to sneak their way back to Earth 2 to pick up all the survivors, and Apocalypse went, oh, hey, a giant spaceship. Pew, pew, pew. We saw the ship explode at the end, but we find out that Sloane actually used the powers that are in the ship to shunt the explosion off to another Earth's spaceship that he built, because he built them on all of the Earths, depending on which one he had to escape from, pretty much. So then the rest of the team were like, wait, so did you just...
I saw Contact. Why build one when you could build one everywhere?
Well, then the rest of the team were going, so did you just kill a bunch of people on another Earth? He's like, I don't know, maybe. It's not this one and it's not mine, so I don't really care. I wasn't there. And, yeah, real nice guy, this Terry Sloane. They all start fighting one another and, basically just call him a dick. That's basically the entire point of the scene. You're a real D-bag, Terry Sloane. While they try to figure out what to do. Meanwhile, Huntress and Batman, aka Thomas Wayne and Oliver Queen, have flown their giant robo with the Jurassic Park hard disk that contains all the genomes and DNA of everything of Earth 2, back over to Atom's Haven because they want to help get everyone back onto these escape ships so that they can get up to the Ark and actually escape with all this data, or else it's not very useful. But they find out that all of those ships are being taken over by Brainwave, who has taken over the throng of people there, including Dick Grayson's son. And, as Dick Grayson is trying to save his son, Brainwave turns the crowd on him. And, before they can attack him though, all of a sudden a batarang comes in from nowhere as Thomas Wayne and Huntress show up and knock him out and kind of take out Brainwave and release all the people. And I am so sorry, but Dick Grayson could quite possibly be the worst father on the face of the planet, because he just got his son back after handing him off to John Constantine. Bad call, number one, and then getting him lost in all of this war thing, and he finally gets him back. And what does he do? He sets him down so he can pick up the batarang and go, wow, this is really cool. This isn't foreshadowing that I would have anything to do with Batman ever in the future. Hey, what do you think about this, son? Son, where did you go, son?
Oh, God.
And he has lost his son yet again. Way to go, Dick Grayson of Earth 2. You're
Father of the Year.
Father of the Year, by far. I'm sorry, it's just so bad that he's that bad of a father. As if things couldn't get any worse, though, Alan Scott's shield finally crumples under the power of Apocalypse's assault. That was actually a very difficult sentence to say. And as we see the shield faltering, Apocalypse, all of the plates actually surround the planet and lock into place, and Earth 2 is now in the center of Apocalypse as the drills start coming down to start consuming the planet itself. Weep, wah, Earth 2.
Yeah.
Sucks to be you.
Has the world ended yet?
Not yet. Not
Okay.
yet. We still got a couple more to go before they get there. It was a rough game for him. You know what? I think it's so bad, we're gonna need another chapter right now.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you want to go another chapter right now?
Sure, do it.
Okay, because I got Earth 2 number 32 as well, that picks up right where we left off, where Earth 2 is entombed by Apocalypse. And their biggest problem now is, well, we have an escape craft, that giant Ark spaceship, but it's on the other side of Apocalypse and all these metal plates that are surrounding the planet. How do we get there? Dr. Fate, though, returns from his little jaunt on Apocalypse. Remember how Naboo took him there and was being a D-bag and left him for one of the demons, and he finally got him back and blah, 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 blah. But he comes back and talks to all his allies, and he's like, I'm sorry, guys, I deserted you in the middle of battle. You know what? I'm tired of this. I am Dr. Fate no more. And he throws his helmet dramatically on the ground and storms off into the base. Pretty dramatic, huh?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, as the internet pointed out, there had to have been a really, really awkward scene where he kind of sheepishly walked back and picked up the helmet and took it into the building, because the very next scene, Hot Girl's standing there while he's holding the helmet and going, come on, Dr. Fate, you gotta join the team again. You gotta help us out. He goes, fine, I already picked the helmet back up. So he puts it back on and he's gonna go out there and help fight. What they need to do, though, is punch a hole somehow through this giant wall of Apocalypse that is keeping Earth 2 from the spaceship. And Power Girl and Val-Zod, obviously they're big heavy hitters, as Kryptonians are already starting to lose their powers because no sunlight's getting in. The planet's been covered by Apocalypse. Also, all those drills keep coming down. So we should probably do something about that too. So it's the last charge of the heroes of Earth 2, Brian. They're heading out to storm the Bastille, get out there, save the day. And as everyone else is trying to figure out a way to punch a hole in the wall.
They're storming the Bastille because they're sick of that Ayo Ayo song?
They are sick of it.
Okay.
As they're doing that, both Dr. Fate and Hot Girl make their way inside the closest drill that's coming down on top of Atom's Haven. And Dr. Fate, in his decision...
That's why I say, hey, Van, nice shot.
Yes. They make their way into the power core inside the drill, and Dr. Fate decides, I think my best attack option right here is to take my helmet off and throw it at this power core, because I will be Dr. Fate no more. And Hot Girl says, haven't we already gone through this, man? Didn't we already do it? And then we pull back to outside where we see a giant explosion, but luckily Khalid did not throw the helmet this time, and both of them come out, and he goes, don't worry, I think I finally got control of Naboo. And immediately the issue ends with Naboo going, dude, you didn't do anything. I'm still right here. I can do as I please. Some bad stuff's gonna happen, FYI, like a world's probably gonna end. Some people are gonna die. Just filling you in, so just don't forget, I'm always gonna be here. Ha ha ha. Sucked that you had to look like an idiot coming back to pick up that helmet, didn't it? Ha ha, that was my doing.
Ayo. How am I going to be an optimist about this?
I don't know.
It almost feels like it's all been done before. Ayo.
Yeah, it's chugging along. The Earth 2 book felt more jointed.
Okay.
I want to say it was some obviously art mishaps, as I said, with the dramatic tossing of helmets and then having the helmet in the very next page. I mean, yeah, it's a little rough, but I guess we can fill in the blanks. We're not idiots. We can figure it out. Although the mental picture of him all like, excuse me, gotta pick that up real quick as he comes back and gets it, is kind of humorous a little bit.
If they'd actually had that page, it probably would have been even better.
It would have been a really great issue, I think.
That would have been something out of Future's End, it sounds like.
Yes, very much so. But why don't you tell us what's going on in Future's? You know what?
I'm not doing Future's End right now.
Yeah, I know. I forgot. We have a little bit of business to do before we get to Future's End. I'm so used to going from Earth 2 to Future's End.
Yeah.
I forgot I made a little bit of a gap there.
Are you saying something else, or are we just going into my next book?
No. You got it. Go for it.
Green Arrow number 40. So, Green Arrow and all of his friends and sidekicks are teaming up to storm the office building.
Don't call them a sidekick.
No.
At least that's what Emiko would say.
Well, yes, but there are other sidekicks there.
Okay, well, fair enough.
They're going to storm the office building of John King, who is not Malcolm Merlyn. He's not. So we get a bunch of scenes of all our pals and guest stars beating up security guards, and Felicity Smoke hacking on the fly in her street clothes with her laptop while getting shot at. Yeah, she's a mad hacker.
Yeah.
Naomi shows up and rolls her eyes at the new her.
Rightfully so.
Yes.
Honestly, rightfully so. She
I
left.
remember when I was saying, it's like, man, Naomi, you're so lame. Why can't you go off to your home planet and have Felicity come in? And then Felicity did come in, and Naomi was, in the meantime, had gotten all awesome and took the red dart gauntlets and started becoming BA.
Yeah.
And, then she showed up and she put, like, Felicity in a headlock, and she's like, who is this? And I'm just like, oh, Naomi, just do it. Just do it. It's like, oh, that's the new you, Naomi. And she's like, oh, man.
Way to go, Brian. That's
know,
what she
right?
should have just said. Way to go, Brian.
Yeah.
You got your wish. Way to
Be
go.
careful what you ask for. Be careful. Why did everyone want Wally West? You're not happy now, are you? I want Felicity. I'm not happy now. What are you going to do? So Green Arrow manages to use his fly up 90 stories arrow.
Oh, that's always my favorite arrow.
Yeah.
It's really, really long, though.
Yeah.
Like 90 stories long.
Yeah. So he shoots his fly up 90 stories arrow while holding Felicity, who is still hacking on her laptop.
Man, that's some dedication.
Yeah, and they're going to do more hacking of the mainframe because the Wi-Fi, the signal isn't strong enough to be able to get to the mainframe, which is all the way up at the top of the building.
The mainframe.
The mainest mainframe.
Okay.
So while Felicity is flying around some late 90s CGI office buildings inside the Matrix,
Okay.
Ollie's ex-girlfriend Zebra shows up.
Oh, Zebra, our favorite.
Yes, our favorite
forgot.
Zebra.
God, I'm so attached to this character.
We're totally not getting her name wrong. So she goes, stop downloading files or else Malcolm King is going to... John King is going to kill Mia Dearden, who is not Thea Queen. No. So Felicity punches out Zebra. Ollie goes to save Mia, but then Mia shoots Ollie. Psych!
What?
Yep.
Wait, Thea shoots Ollie?
No, Mia shoots Ollie.
Okay. But what happened to Zebra?
She got punched out by Felicity.
No, Zebra!
But then double psych, she also wants to shoot John King. But psych, he knew she was going to turn on him.
Wait!
So she doesn't have any more bullets in the gun that she had. That she stole from him, I think? So he knew that he was going to steal the gun and then shoot Ollie and then maybe try to shoot her?
So he's
but what if he was
psych? Or
I don't know, maybe. But Ollie wears a bulletproof vest and he arrows King. So King goes to jail.
Wait. Arrow's King?
Yeah,
or
he uses
Ollie
arrow. He goes like, he shoots his arrows and he's like, arrowed. You are now arrowed.
That's what his catchphrase is?
Yes.
Arrowed.
ARROW''. You've been arrowed.
Wouldn't it be arrowed? You've been arrowed.
No, that's what Felicity would say. When Felicity eventually gets archery powers, that's what she's going to say.
Fair enough.
You got Airpwned.
Oh.
Yeah, so now John goes to jail. They use the hacked files to expose him for being evil, even though he saved the city or something. So now it's Team Arrow, like on the TV show with Diggle and Felicity saying, I'm going to get a costume now. And everyone's just like, sure you are.
No, they even have an out for her. Don't you remember that part where Steve Trevor offered her a job at Argus? So they could just be like,
but she's like, no, I want to stay with you guys and get a costume. Yep.
That's what should be the beginning of the next issue. It's just a hand pushing her face off of the panel.
A beautifully rendered Patrick Zurcher drawing of a cane pulling Felicity, an Argus branded cane. Sandman Sims comes and sweeps her off the stage. Oh, womp womp.
Sorry,
womp womp. Monique has spoken.
Man, talk about diving there. Jeez.
Man.
So you're gonna say you were all about this arc then, right?
Sure.
It was at least amusing.
It was amusing. It felt a little rushed, to be honest. It seemed like
Green Lantern Green Arrow issue felt really fun.
Yeah.
That one was a blast, and then the blimp issue wasn't that bad.
Yes.
Getting tossed off of blimps all the time.
They didn't have any tickets. No tickets.
No tiki, no ride.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of fun things in it.
There's fun stuff. It just sort of seemed like, oh, someone else has taken over Seattle again.
It was a Band-Aid arc, and it felt like a Band-Aid arc. I'm not gonna lie. It was completely disjointed from what it came off of, and just
yet,
went, we're doing this now for 6 issues.
It's just, it followed one of our favorite writer-artist teams. It's always going to be hard to pick up after one of those things. And I'm sure there were people that preferred this over what he was doing.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. It had a little bit more parody with the more popular
TV
rendition
show,
of
yeah,
it. So,
yeah.
I mean, sure. I mean, why not take a stab at it, see what you get?
Yeah.
It's at least worth a shot, especially when you have the showrunners actually writing the book. I think the name changing all over the place is kind of weird, but hey,
Yeah,
I
because
understand
again,
why they were doing it.
Yeah, that's one of the arguments for keeping the media and the comics separate, even though I'm always claiming that you should bring in stuff from the popular media to make it a little easier to access. But in this case, for a doofus like me who knows too much, it became a hindrance. So,
Just a little bit.
a little bit.
I didn't get that vibe from the
No,
recap.
really.
None whatsoever. Why don't you wrap up the half for us, though?
Oh God, I am, aren't I?
Yep.
Not paying attention to my own notes. All right, so hey, why don't we leave the now of Arrow and go 5 years in the future?
5 years in the future.
Yes. It's a Zurcher drops a bomb on everybody issue
boom!
again. Yeah. So, start off in New York City. Adam joins up with Batman and a now repentant Mr. Terrific after his Joe Bluth, freak out at the end of last issue.
Understandable.
New York City is being piloted by Galactiac to go fly off to who knows where. Superman has to stop helping people so he can go stop Brainiac, leaving Dr. Polaris and Firestorm to team up and try to save the buildings from falling and stuff. And it's amusing.
Was that this issue? Not that there would be any other issue after it, but where everyone was talking about Dr. Polaris and how rude he is.
That might be next issue.
Oh, I mean, I would assume they're going to have that conversation.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have that.
Yeah.
So, Batman Beyond, Plastique and her crew are busy trying to convince former Red Robin Tim Drake, who, as we all know, is currently living under the name Swabdeck Shipwash,
Wow.
to fight alongside them. We are fighting for the future of your children, Swabdeck Shipwash. What happened? Do you know what happens in the future if Swabdeck Shipwash the Third is never born? He's like, wait, really? I'm gonna have kids? Like, no, we don't know. We're just postulating. Everyone just shrugs her shoulders and goes, hey, I don't know.
After he slept with all the Teen Titans, you never know.
Well, yeah, you never know, yeah. This has just become a recurring theme that there's always a scene where Plastique just sort of shrugs at the camera and everyone looks at her funny, and I just love that.
Yes,
love that so much.
See, last week you were talking about how you had your particular comedic writing artist, as far as the way he does things seems to fit the comedic feel at times.
Yes.
Even Zurcher's stepping up now and giving you some fun.
Well, like as we've said, Zurcher's jumped onto our favorites list, so you know.
quite a bit.
He can do no wrong right now.
Well, let's not go too far.
No.
But he's good. He's
hyperbole.
Really good.
What are we reading comics for if we're not going to engage in a little hyperbole?
Touche, but I'm trying to keep it to a minimum.
I know. So, off on the streets, the man-e-faces Joker Batman Abomination robot crack wise at a guy who is still waiting in line for the U-Sphere, even with the world ending and buildings falling right next to him, uprooting the sidewalk he's sitting on in his lawn chair.
Now he's number one.
Yep.
I'm first in line.
Biting social commentary from the Joker. Yes. Superman gets all stupid and noble and fights Brainiac while he's piloting the city and punches him so hard that every version of Brainiac across the multiverse feels it.
I'm going to punch you so hard your pre-crisis self will feel it.
Zurcher. And then Adam shows up with Brother Eye U-Spheres and uses them as weapons of mass reduction.
Oy.
Because Adam loves them puns.
He does.
Loves them puns. To focus his dwarf star lensing and shrinks him down to teeny tiny size and puts him in a U-Sphere for safekeeping.
Itty bitty.
I hope he has to throw him at an enemy soon enough, all while loudly explaining the rules of rock, paper, scissors to his friends and his enemies. Galactiac! Galactiac! And while this is happening, Superman goes and catches the falling New York City because if there's one thing Superman is great at, besides throwing things into the sun.
Okay.
And
or
throwing things through portals.
Okay.
It's lifting heavy things while flying.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's quite the resume he has there.
Yes. So everyone is happy. Superman's back and Batman, Mr. Terrific are all, hey, it seems like there's a few issues left. That was very easy. That was much easier than we thought. Weird, isn't it? Maybe we'll just have like a baseball game or something. It worked for the X-Men all those years ago.
I guess we could do that.
Well, Brother I most certainly does not watch on from a monitor ominously.
Nope. It just wants to play center field, and that's why it's like raising its little eye hand right now. It's like, hey guys, I want to play. Really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Again, artwork stunning. And I think it's built itself to a point where obviously this is a fake, I don't want to say fake, climax to the story, because it was a pretty good climax, but obviously that's the psych out climax, and then now everything's just gonna go insane for the next couple of issues leading into Convergence. So I'm really looking forward to that, to see how they get where we are now into Convergence moving forward.
Yeah.
So, very good.
Yes.
Let's talk about what we have coming up for round 2, though.
I've got Detective Comics, Justice League 3000, and Green Lantern.
Man, you got a back half.
Yeah.
And I got Batman Eternal number 48, Grayson, or I'm going to call him all about that Basin. Number 8, Harley Quinn number 15, and Lobo is going to wrap it up for me. So hold on a couple seconds. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will go through those books.
I love you, oh my God, I love you.
Take long. We are back, and we're ready to do the Bat half of the show. Starting off with Batman Eternal number 48, where Commissioner Bard is trying to talk to Mayor Haiti about freeing Commissioner Gordon. But, Brian, it's an election year.
Oh, man.
And freeing Commissioner Gordon after all that stuff would be really bad for his polling. It'd be horrible. All of his advisors said so. But while Bard is trying to have this conversation, whoever the mastermind is behind all of these things going on is also calling the Penguin in Blackgate Prison and actually making a proposition to give him what he wants if he kills Commissioner Gordon. And what better time to do it than Blackgate riot time? What? Hey, riot time. Seems to be like every Tuesday at Blackgate Prison at least, so I'm assuming they just went, well, there should be another riot in about an hour. We'll just do it then. So
the Emperor of Blackgate, I mean, he says so.
He does, Emperor Blackgate.
Maybe we shouldn't have put an inmate in charge of this prison.
No, probably a bad idea. As we had seen in the last issue, the Bat Clan, including Batwing fighting against
Scarecrow. With a name like Ignatius Ogilvy, how can you not trust him?
It really is kind of a leadership title, at least that name.
If there's a villain named Max Powers, we just put him in charge.
Oh, of course. But the Bat-Clan is facing off against a bunch of Batman's foes, as we saw last issue, where Batwing is fighting Scarecrow, Batgirl against Joker's daughter, Harper Row against Mr. Freeze, Red Robin against Clayface, and Red Hood against the luchador-crushing Robo-Blade. The usual villains that he has out there. All of them are at an even greater disadvantage because Hush, back at the Batcave, is dismantling all of their toys and turning them off, including, I guess, Red Hood's guns were linked up to the Bat computer because he detonates all of the ammunition so he can't shoot.
So Batman was cool with him having guns?
I assume he could have turned them off at any given moment, but didn't.
All right.
Sure. So that's going on. First target of those disabled toys, though, was, of course, Batman, who died in a fiery crash of the Batplane last issue. No way he could have walked away from it. So this issue, he walks away from it. And he has to figure out a way to get back to Gotham because he's still only halfway there. Luckily runs across an Air Force base and leaves a literal Bat IOU spray painted onto the tarmac as he steals an F-16 and flies away in it. He's good for it. He's Batman. He left an IOU inside a bat symbol. They'll figure it out. Julia Pennyworth, meanwhile, makes her way to shore where the city is on fire. If only there was someone else with a bat computer. If only there was someone else just as paranoid or was modeling their entire life and existence after Batman. Oh, I have an idea, and she runs off into the city. Meanwhile, Bard, since he couldn't get any help from Mayor Haiti, heads on back to the GCPD building to find Bullock scrambling with all the other cops, and he's like, hey, what's going on here? Why is everyone running? And Bullock fills him in about the riot at Blackgate, and that's when he goes, oh no, they're making their move on Gordon. I'm going to come with. We have to help him. And finally, the most important part of this particular issue, Spoiler has approached Vicky Vale to see.
Vale?
I knew it was coming. To see what's going on, why she hasn't run the story of all the information that she's given her. She's like, what's going on? Why won't you run the story? And Vicky's going, well, I can't. If I do, it'll destroy Jason Bard. And he's not a bad guy per se. He's just was a little misguided, and he seems to have turned a corner on that. Maybe, it's not the best.
And my editors want me to rephrase it as a listicle to get more hits. I don't know.
It's horrible. BuzzFeed Joey's my newest editor. It's gone downhill since that. And Spoiler's asking, okay, well, you won't run that story. What about all the stuff about Signal Man and Family Gang Night? Are you going to run that? And Vicky Vale goes, Signal Man, who cares about that stuff at all? And that's when Spoiler just flips her lid. She's like, don't you understand? That's the whole point. No one cares about Signal Man, but that's the crux of this entire plan. And as she's saying that, the claw from Toy Story flies in through the window and grabs her. All the little aliens go, and it turns out to be Clue Master in his clue goggles that are C's and E's for the eyes with the little LU in the middle bridge section. I guess they help him see clues. He has grappled her and is flying her away in his clue copter. It looks like a regular helicopter, but I'm going to assume it's a clue copter because if it's Family Gang Night, it's low rent. So, if this turns out to be Family Gang Night is the actual masterminds behind all of this, I'm going to slow clap and then just start whooping and hollering by the end of this book. If it turns out Signal Man is the guy behind it all, I'm just going to smile so big at that point. So, obviously big things happening and a lot of fun. Still enjoying the Batman Eternals as it's coming to a close, even though we only got like 4 more issues left and we still don't know who's behind it.
All right. Detective Comics number 40.
So pretty.
So pretty. So, Batman and Harvey Bullock solved the mystery of who Anarchy was.
Okay.
It's Sam Young.
The police officer?
Don't remember who Sam Young was?
Wasn't he the cop that was being all dirty and punching people?
I believe he was the guy that was running for office, whose deep dark secret was that he was an orphan.
Oh, yes.
Yes. If he was just trying to be, his deep dark secret was an orphan, he was really just trying to be the lead boyfriend in Coyote Ugly.
Well, obviously. Obviously.
Because, that's the most horrifying secret you could possibly have.
It's pretty bad.
Especially as an adult. I was an orphan at one point. I've gotten my life together, but at one point I was an orphan. Oh my goodness.
You're going to see me so
Piper Parabo, you'll never want to go out with me now. John Goodman's not going to know how to do laundry. It's going to be terrible.
It will be terrible. I assure you it will be terrible.
So the Mad Hatter worked as a groundskeeper at an orphanage and killed all the kids there with his public domain murder games. And his sister, Sam Young's sister, was Alice.
Was his first initial runs that didn't make it out there, like She'll Be Coming Round the Mountain Murderer, and then the Ojo Zana. And
he was the candy man. He operated out of Big Rock Candy Mountain.
Okay.
I
do kind of want to see the list of things that didn't work for public domain out there. I was going to do Tarzan, but look at me. I'm not very ripped. What else do we got? Obviously, he could have done John Carter.
No. That stuff. There's people in charge of those things now.
Well, I mean, there was a window there. You could still have some alternate publication.
Yeah.
It would have been really awkward if he actually chose it and then Disney bought it and then he would have had to pay royalties. Actually moved universes since Marvel and all.
Yeah, exactly.
Really awkward.
Yeah. So he made these anarchy masks with Alice's face so everyone would remember her, and the city wasn't actually going crazy. He was controlling them with Mad Hatter technology, and Bullock is able to put on a Mad Hatter hat that was just hiding in a wall somewhere to stop everyone, and Batman punches out Anarchy because he's just a dude.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if he's going to punch people with skin conditions, he has to at least punch normal dudes in masks.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can't make those kind of differentiations there without someone calling it down and going, hey, I think you're being unjust against the skin condition people here.
Yeah. Flick gets treated for his gunshot wound. Money Spider survives and gets his anarchy mask back. Foreshadowing.
Foreshadow.
Sam goes to Arkham himself. Mad Hatter goes back and puts an Alice mask on a stuffed animal.
Creepy.
Everything's back to normal. Take down the Christmas decorations with Alfred. Master Bruce, what about everyone in Gotham who... Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, hello, Master Bruce. What about all the people in Gotham getting the digital records erased? We'll have Batgirl do it. She's a computer, right?
Yeah, I think she's a computer.
Yeah,
I heard some about this.
She can fix that.
Doesn't she live in the computer?
Computer. Yeah, so Batman splash pages off into a 2-month break. Good night, everybody.
Hey! Really, really pretty.
Yeah.
Really well done as far as doing a mystery with actual clues and things out there. There was obviously meticulous detective work done. Amazing.
Yes.
In Detective Comics, detective work being done. I know. A little far-fetched.
A lot of little clues and stuff that I was not able to cover given our format. Sorry, everybody.
Well, even the
How about you just read it instead?
Even in the earlier issues in the arc, we were like, there's detective work and clues. Us trying to explain all the little stuff.
How about we just talk about the squid instead? There's a googly-eyed squid.
Googly-eyed squid. I mean, that's more important, really.
Yeah.
But I think they did a really good job for their first arcs on Detective Comics.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we loved what they were doing on Flash, so nice to see it translate over just as well to a book that's very different in tone and style, and they've been able to swing that for the fences as well. Yeah. So, yay, team!
Woo.
Another one that has cracked it, not even over the fences, but out of the park, and maybe into a completely different sport. All about that Basin, number 8. He's the best. He really, really is. But right now, before we get to him, we're going to talk about Mr. Minos. You remember Mr. Minos?
Yes, I do. The easiest cosplay humanly possible.
Yes.
Well, except for the whole faceless thing, but you know.
Jim Tressel of international espionage and villainy. With his sweater vests and ready to go. He's just calling the plays. And he's a really likable guy. But he's the guy that's been behind this whole spiral thing of collecting all of these organs of Paragon that emulate the different powers of the Justice League and really wants to find out who the real people are underneath all these masks. No more secrets. We're going to get it out in the open. Full transparency. That's what his driving motivator is. At the beginning of this issue, he's having a conversation. It looks to be simultaneously with 2 different women. One of them is a woman in a hat that we can't see who it is in a diner, and the other one is with Helena Bertinelli, where he's explaining to Helena that I've got all the organs now, except for that one that we lost in the desert. I don't know where it went. It was Wonder Woman's strength and a heart. I don't know. It's somewhere out there. Too bad we lost it, but I got all the rest of them. I have all of the IDs of every single superhero and supervillain in the world right now. I think my work's done. The thing is, do you remember when we first talked about bringing Grayson into this whole thing and I handed you the crossbow and told you that Spiral said that you couldn't do it even though you wanted him on the team and you immediately shot him? It was pretty much right then when I figured out you were a little too loyal to Spiral, so you were going to have to be first, and he takes her crossbow and shoots her right through the heart with it. Ouch.
Okay.
Well, things aren't going too well for her.
No.
Nearby, though, in a completely
And she's to blame, too.
She is. She gave love a bad name.
Yep.
I mean, what can you say? Nearby, though, in a complete shift of tone, Grayson is teaching acrobatics and gymnastics to the college-age girls at the St. Hadrian School, the finishing school for assassin females. And remember what his punishment was after having a rooftop chase with all the girls that were having a Manti raid against him? He was forced to take on the persona of a gay French gymnast so that he could teach the girls gymnastics. And they're all just standing there watching him drooling, talking about how they have named each one of his butt cheeks. One is named Juan and the other one is named Jim. And they're talking about how Juan always gets all the appreciation, but Jim feels all cold and alone. And they're going to have to cuddle with him so he doesn't feel left out. And one of the girls says, but isn't he gay? Leading to my favorite line, I think, in any one of the books I've read this year, where she goes, gay? Paris is gay, but that don't stop me from wanting to climb up on the Eiffel Tower, if you know what I'm saying. That was like, damn! It was really good, though. So good. But Otto Netz, not Otto Netz, Dr. Netz, the daughter of Otto Netz, shows up, bringing in the wounded Helena Bertinelli, who is barely clinging to life because the sights on her crossbow are automatically set a little bit off just in case something like that happened. It didn't kill her. And she explains that Minos has gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and he's out there trying to kill off all the agents so that he can take the information from Spiral and go rogue. And first person he's going to go after her is Agent Number 1, who's in the nearby chapel. They take her away to stabilize her. She's going to be okay. We'll get her back up and running. And Grayson goes busting out the window because that's what Bat Family members do. If you're going to make an entrance or an exit, you jump out through a skylight or a stained glass window. I mean, you got to. In the nearby chapel, Minos has in fact gone berserk and is attacking Agent 1, who, I'm just going to say this out there. I'm just going to toss this out there. Might actually be more attractive than Dick Grayson. He's got like the whole swarthy Middle Eastern look thing going, and
like the dude from Lost or something.
Yeah, kind of just like a hey, and I think Spiral is just all supermodels. I think this is basically Zoolander, where they're all being trained to kill the Prime Minister of Micronesia or Malaysia. Or whichever.
The Prime of Propecia.
But they're all super hot. And,
but why male models?
I don't know, Brian.
Okay.
I don't know. But in this case, he has put together Paragon and all the organs together into a giant person that has all the powers of the Justice League, except Wonder Woman's strength. And, using all of his acrobatics is able to stay one step ahead because he's studied the Justice League just like his papa Batman taught him to. And, everything's hunky-dory and he's actually winning the fight, but he's gonna take a blast to the face when all the girls who have donned their skull mask come in to save Juan and Jim because they can't let it die, and they start shooting crossbows at him, distracting him long enough for everything to work out. And they've toppled Paragon, and as he's standing over top of Mr. Minos, he's like, okay, well, what are we gonna do with you here? And Helena Bertinelli walks in and shoots him through the heart with her crossbow, killing him. Well, I guess Mr. Minos is no more. Right, Brian?
I'm sure there aren't multiples of him.
Well, if only it was like 2 issues ago that we saw that there were 3 Mr. Minoses, and we cut back to that conversation in the cafe where he's saying, yeah, it's a light construct that I've put together basically that looks like me, and that should work as the tidy ending for all of these superheroes / spies. They all think that they toppled the bad guy that was doing all these bad things, and I get to escape with all of the information, and I'm going to duck off back to Ireland, where that whole annual where they had the adventure in Ireland, the people that they betrayed there are going to take him in. And the lady he's talking to is like, it all makes sense, but how do you know Spiral didn't manipulate you just to bring Grayson into the fold? And as she's asking that question, he's like, how would you know? Wait a minute, do I know you? You look really familiar all of a sudden. And that's when he finally puts together that she is actually Agent Zero of Spiral. Who do you think Agent Zero of Spiral is?
Would that be the old Batwoman?
That's correct, Kathy Kane,
yes,
who is sitting there. And she goes, well, you got me. I'm Agent Zero, so you know what I'm going to have to do. And he goes, oh no, don't kill me. But before you kill me, at least let me explain who I am. Let me turn off my hypnos, tell you why I did what I did, etc., etc., etc. And she just goes, nope, and shoots him in the face. And goes, I don't really care. Honestly, you did your part. Grayson is in my web. Go team. Let's all storm off and do something from here. I told you before we even recorded that the internet called this the firing squad of Chekhov's guns.
Yes.
And it really was everything that they have set up throughout this run so far, paying off in every single page of every single panel. And, wow. Big turns. Big turns.
Mr. Minos, frowny face.
Remember, there were 3 of them.
That's true.
3 of them. I think we still have gray sweater vests, Mr. Minos.
Okay.
Because they all had different colored sweater vests, so you could tell them apart.
Yeah.
Obviously, the gray one is the mastermind behind it all. So good. So very good. I know we're on a 2-month break, but the trade comes out during Convergence. So you can catch up and be ready to jump on in issue 9 in the post-Convergence stuff where things make a big turn as well. Obviously, since Mr. Minos isn't in charge of Spiral anymore. So who are they working for? Who's he working with if Bertinelli's down for the count for a while? What's gonna happen next? Ooh. All right. I've gushed enough. Go.
Yeah. No, you're next. Still,
Am
you're
I
continuing
really?
on. Yeah, you're doing Harley Quinn.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, well, Harley Quinn was fun. I can deal with that.
All right, should I go on to Justice League 3000 now that you've recapped
No,
Harley Quinn?
I'll run through it real quick. It's actually not that difficult. Harley Quinn's overwhelmed. Plain and simple. We talked about it before where she's trying to work the job at the retirement home. She's also doing the roller derby stuff, taking care of being the slumlord of a tenement building on the island there, and trying to take care of all of the people that live there. And she's just got a lot on her plate. So much so that she just cannot juggle it all. And she returns home to find Ivy there, who says, "Hey, I just robbed a bank, killed off some corrupt CEO by feeding him corn and making it grow in his belly. You want to go take all the money and go on a Riviera cruise or something? That'd be kind of cool." But she just can't do it. Too much on her plate. Sorry, I just can't do it. And Ivy goes, "Well, have you thought about maybe hiring on some help? Maybe bringing some people into the whole Harley corporation, I guess, and making it a larger endeavor?" And they go, "You know what? That's a good idea." And she posts up for lack of a better term, Craigslist ad looking for people to work with her. And that's basically what the majority of this issue is where we get to see the three main people, who is Antonia, that is a tough girl from Harlem looking for work to pay for her rent. Shona, who's a tougher girl of Indian descent, working to protect her family restaurant from uptown asses. And last but not least, Carlita, who's repping the Bronx by tossing muggers off of rooftops, but not fatally. Just kind of a friendly tossing off the rooftop. But all three of them see the call to arms, and a new war begins, so do your part. Would you like to know more?
About what?
I don't know. If a new war is beginning,
okay,
do your part. Would you
I
like
guess
to know more?
It's Harley Quinn Inc.?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's just more people signing on. Apparently the new storyline will be the gang of Harleys. So we're going to have a bunch of Harleys in New York City running around. Okay. And that was kind of the introduction to the expanded cast.
I see.
So that was the crux of this one. It was more of a transitional issue than a lot of sight gags and fun, laughy stuff. So it was more of an introduction stuff. Little off the beaten path for their style, but obviously it's they need that to get to where they're going.
Yes.
So we'll see where it goes from there.
All right. Going on to Justice League 3000, number 15.
Kooky Pants.
Yep. Demon strangling Wonder Woman on the cover, and they even say, "This doesn't happen in this issue." It's like, don't worry about it. It never does anymore.
Self-aware.
Mm-hmm. The Demon out in future space on Camelot 9. He has fire in his control, and he's sending her to kill Ice.
Fire!
Yep. Wonder Woman and the Terry Flash are busy hanging out in Ice's frozen castle with some awesome bat-winged penguins.
Whoa! Nice.
Yeah, which will henceforth be known as Pingwings.
Oh, boy.
Yes. So Ice herself is at the Justice League 3000 castle, probably not planning on staying because this league is so much different from hers. As Super Douche chimes in, "Yeah, ours is better. It's way better. Also, I have a crush on Terry Flash." "No, wait, no, I don't. Shut up." What am I talking about? Who said that? No one said that. And then Ice is just like, okay, maybe it's a little bit like my league.
It seems pretty goofy. Yeah. I'm starting to feel a little more at home.
Yes. So this leads into the self-admitted kind of pointless fight for Ice's castle between Camelot and Justice League 3000 and the Demon's forces. So there's a big fight. There's lots of yucks that are had because people won't stop making fun of Super Douche for having a crush on the new Flash. It looks like they're winning, and then Fire shows up with even more demons, and all seems lost, but the power of friendship stops Fire from being brainwashed, but doesn't stop her from wearing the same Jazzercise headband she's been wearing since the 80s.
Well, you know, I mean, baby steps.
Yeah,
baby steps. We gotta get there.
So, hooray, friendship. We still have millions of demons to fight, and the castle is exploding, but you know, hey, that's great.
But we're friends.
Mm-hmm. And that's all that matters. And while all that's going on, it's all been a diversion because the Injustice Gang 3000 has just straight up murdered Ariel Winters while they were gone. Lois Lane 3000, you so crazy.
You so cray-cray.
Literally, you are seriously crazy. There's something wrong with you.
So good.
Yes.
So
much
good.
fun.
That's really what it is too. It's just fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's telling a story. It's doing its own thing. It's off in its own world even.
Yeah.
And they are just having so much fun. Obviously, people that know these characters from what they're referring to them back as, at least some of the people showing up now, Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Fire, Ice, are all their original incarnations.
Yeah.
So people get some hooks in that way, but for me, not knowing anything about those folks, still having an absolute blast with this book. Nothing but positive things to say. God, it's so much fun.
They're fighting on a castle planet in the future. Why not?
It's just so much fun to see. Who's doing the art for this one?
Howard Porter.
Oh, that's right. I don't know why I just had a mind blank on it. I was just actually about to even state that Howard Porter, Aaron Cooter, Patrick Zurcher, all those guys, nicest guys in the world on Twitter. You see them just messaging each other and all the other artists at DC and Marvel alike and just talking up, hey man, I really love what you did here and stuff. It's just so cool to see that kind of, just having that positive aspect on the team, I guess. It just feels nice to see those guys out there leading the charge. You're actually seeing all the shop talk in public now, which is weird. Yeah, it is a little weird, but it's still really cool to see. What do I have next, Brian?
Lobo?
What's up? I do have Lobo. There we go. Yeah. Lobo wrapping up its little run here. I think it continues on afterwards, but Lobo and his pals are hunting down Pariah, but not the crying Pariah.
Aww.
Not the one that we want to see come back.
I know.
But the one who shares a history with Lobo as one of the Zarnians who left Zarnia and went to the nearby planet and is now in control of these, controls of the ghost fleet that has been summoned to destroy the planet Earth. And of course, Lobo has been hired to stop all of the assassins that were hired to assassinate the planet Earth. But first, before we get to that, flashback, where we see Lobo confronting the ruler of Zarnia, the emperor there, who is nutso, absolutely insane. He was poisoned and has apparently poisoned the planet itself with his madness. And Lobo is about to kill him when the beloved princess, the woman that he has been posing for in front of the moonlight with his fluffy pirate shirt blowing in the wind, and they've been sharing passionate nights and even more passionate days, runs up and goes, "No, you can't kill my father. You're a horrible separatist. I'll kill you." And Lobo is forced to kill her before he kills the emperor as well.
Oh.
Rough day for Lobo. Rough day. And that's when he was cursed to don the title of the Lobo, which is the destroyer of worlds, in their tongue at least. So it is a title. You got it, what it means. It's not a name. He is just the title, the cursed one, essentially. So back in the present, he finally tracks down Pariah, but not before finding the bodies of 2/3 of his teammates. No,
generic teammates. How are we gonna go on without
jacket. You? No. It did seem very tidy. Like, nope, these guys just aren't working. And snap their necks, toss them off onto the pile of sidekicks, and we'll make some new ones later. Yeah. But they end up having a big old fight where Pariah claims she was the one that actually led Zarnia's emperor to ruin by poisoning him, because she was paid to assassinate that planet, just like she has been paid to assassinate Earth. And as the vicious fight ends, it pretty much comes to a draw with Lobo sticking his thumbs through her eye sockets and digging out her brain matter through her ocular cavities. Ocular distress. You know what? That's a good time to call time.
Yeah.
So they call time out.
Yeah.
Fight over. Let's do this another time. I'm gonna stuff my brains back in through my eye sockets. That hurt a little bit. So she's down. He takes the controls and leaves them in the hands of the young Romani girl, the last of his teammates who have been generic to say the least. She got the most conversation stuff, so you get to live, and here's controls to a ghost fleet to destroy a planet if you ever want to, I guess. And as he flies off, he decides he's going to find out who it was that hired Pariah to destroy Earth as well, because they are likely the person that hired her to destroy Zarnia. And by God, as the Lobo, he's going to make them pay. Literally, because he has to collect his money for killing all the assassins as well. So off he goes, flying into the sun itself, I guess. Not sunset, because he's flying off into space. So, I don't know. Maybe not into the sun, but around the sun, slingshot style. Like Roadrunner.
Okay.
It was amusing. Again, serviceable.
Yeah.
It's not a negative thing. It's just telling its story.
Yeah.
So, moving on.
Going on to Green Lantern number 40.
Oh, speaking of telling a story.
Yeah. So, Hal Jordan decides to stop being a Green Lantern because he's sick of being a cop that no one likes. So he comes up with a secret plan to turn his back on the Corps. He steals Krona's gauntlet, the deadliest weapon in the evidence room. He beats Kilowog to death?
No, I don't think death. And remember, they had a conversation.
But It seemed like it's a possibility.
I don't
maybe.
think so. I think Kilowog's okay. He was just seeing space birds flying around his head.
So it was kind of like a mutual respect thing and maybe part of the secret plan, but everyone sees him as a bad guy now, and he flies off with the big Corona gauntlet thing in his like t-shirt and jeans. Like, if Superman can do it, I can do it too.
Well, I think you're getting the facts and missing some of the nuance behind it all, though, as far as why he's doing it, because he's going to be the target for the universe. If the universe hates the Green Lantern Corps, he was the one in charge, so he'll go out and make himself the target. That the Green Lantern Corps weren't the bad people, it was me being the leader, so hate me, I'm going to make like sounds all the time and be a stereotypical bad guy. Here I am doing bad stuff.
Yeah.
And that was why he explained it to Kilowog, who had, I thought that was a good scene, though.
Yeah.
Where it was I'm not going to let you go out there and take this burden on your shoulders without proving that you're able to handle it. And to prove it, you have to get past me for realsies. None of this fake training in the mud stuff. And he did it, so he beat him senseless.
Yeah.
A big setup for Hal Jordan, though, because that's his new direction moving forward as space bad guy, quote unquote, fake bad guy, where he's, I'm assuming, going to try to be nice, but make it look like he's being evil. Like, I'm gonna pull this kitten out of a tree, see? Which could be fun in space.
Yeah.
Does that intrigue you as all? As a...
I'm interested to see where they're going.
Yeah.
I mean, it pretty much was designed to make everyone go, what? At the end of it, so.
Yeah. But again, just like Harley Quinn, this was more of a transitional, and I feel it was earned. They were building up to it. The last 2 or 3 issues of Green Lantern were him going, maybe I wasn't a great leader. Maybe I wasn't the best thing for the Green Lantern Corps. But now he's going to do what he does best, which is going renegade and flying off into the sun or around the sun like Wile E. Coyote. Slingshot.
And isn't there like a new Green Lantern Corps book?
Lost Army.
Lost Army. Okay.
Yes. So
that seems less like it'd be the continuation of what the good guys are doing.
It does not seem like there is an actual following the core book.
Yeah.
At least not straight out of Convergence.
Yeah, because if this Green Lantern's off doing his own thing, unless they give Simon Baz the book.
Maybe Sinestro will come back to the Green Lantern Corps, and that'll be the Green Lantern Corps book.
Maybe.
Who knows? Who knows? He is really good friends with Hal Jordan. And I bet you he's just going to be laughing and slapping his knees when he sees what he decided to do this time. Like, oh, Jordan, you idiot.
Yep.
So I am looking forward to that conversation at the very least. But that's it. That wraps us up.
I would love to just see Sinestro like eating a big old tub of popcorn, just like sitting on like a construct lawn chair. Just like whenever Hal Jordan has a big fight, he's like, oh, I got to go watch this. And he just go sets up shop. It's like, no, don't mind me, guys. You
guys beat up Mongol. I'll let you do it this time. I'm going to be over here watching Hal Jordan fight.
Yeah.
That would be pretty funny, I have to admit. But that's it for us. That is all of our books. So a reminder to you guys, go out there and buy these books. We're getting closer. I think you can this might be in the last week's pile.
Yeah.
By the time you hear this episode. So you could actually still go get it. As such, though, if you do not buy them, they don't make them. Nobody wins. As I said last week, I completely understand we're at the very end of every storyline and every single book. But a lot of the trades are coming out during Convergence. They're obviously making a very big push to have a jumping on point ready to go for Convergence if you want to be up to date with what came prior.
2 years later trade thing they were doing for a while.
They're not doing it as well with all of the books.
Yeah.
There's still a couple out there that I think people would really want that aren't going to be out in time for it. But at the same time, they're at least putting forth an effort. They're putting forth an effort, and I have to yay that much at least. So if they can cut down that lead time, I think everyone will be happy because their sales will probably reflect that while the stuff is quote unquote relevant and people can jump in and just go where they want from there.
Yeah.
It's my opinion at least. And as we know, my opinion is worth nothing, but regardless. So Brian, do you have next week's books lined up?
Sure.
I do.
Okay, yeah, you go ahead and do that.
Okay, fine. Fair enough. We're going to start off with Action Comics number 40. Or are we? We're not going to start off with Action Comics number 40 because it is not good. Right? That's how we do this, right? It's not good. Or it's...
No think so?
Good. Yeah, Mayhem think no good. Mayhem think Aaron Cooter bad artist. Bizarro think so. Yeah.
No.
You'll figure it out.
Yes?
I think we're going to skip over Shirtless Diggle for this week. Batman Eternal number 49, where Batman is flying his F-16 into Luchador crushing Robobane. Batman, no, never mind. Constantine number 23, the end of that book. Detective Comics Endgame number 1. Interesting book, I think. It will be. Earth 2 World's End number 23. Green Lantern Corps number 40. The end of the storied career of the Green Lantern Corps book. It's been going on for so many years, and that's the end of it. Justice League United number 10. Clarion number 6. Why are you laughing?
I don't know.
I don't know either. New 52 Futures End number 45. The new Suicide Squad number 8. And last but not least, World's Finest number 32. That was a little cold, I think. That might have been a little cold. I didn't mean it.
It's cold as ice.
That being said, if you guys do want to reach out and contact us, as I said last week, I'm still behind on replying to stuff. I will be catching up over the next couple weeks, probably over the course of Convergence. But if you do want to reach us, Brian, what can they do?
They can type DCR podcast into the internet and press enter.
Yes, and then you can click on any of the links that show up from there, because there's a couple of them.
Find us on Facebook, find us on Tumblr, say hey.
Or
if you're confused as to why we're posting so late, maybe you should have been on the Facebook.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'm sure they can figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
Context clues. Clues. But
What's
yes.
the worst thing that could happen? Someone says something funny in one of the comments sections?
Yeah, I absolutely love the fact that I almost feel like I could just put an ellipses of ... and then everyone else would fill in much funnier stuff than what I could ever write into the box above.
Yeah.
But as such, if you guys do want to reach us, you can reach us there, or you can email us at feedback@dcrpodcast.com. So Brian, do you have anything before we take off on this weird Wednesday?
If you somehow can read this before your comic shop closes, the book Giant Days by John Allison comes out today.
Like today?
The
future today?
The day that this is being posted.
Okay, for realsies.
John Allison and Disney animator Lisa Tremaine.
Okay, fair enough.
It looks awesome.
Okay, well, I will take your word for it. I will borrow your copy once you're done.
It's from the Boombox imprint.
Gotcha. I had not heard of it whatsoever. So
it's a continuation of a webcomic, but it's supposed to be standalone from where it's at. So
look at you keeping your finger on the pulse.
Yep.
But if we have nothing else, I'm assuming the blank look means no.
No.
Okay. Then enjoy your books.
Also this week, Big Thunder Mountain by the Avengers Undercover Team is coming out.
What?
A comic book based on the Disney World ride Big Thunder Mountain is being written by, yes.
I understand Pirates of the Caribbean, but...
No, Big Thunder Mountain. They're doing a comic, and it's Dennis Hopeless, and I can't remember her name, but she did the last couple issues of Avengers Undercover, and she's awesome.
Okay.
Lisa Tig, maybe?
Okay.
Something along those lines. But yeah, I'm excited for that, too.
Okay.
So you can get that if it's still out.
So if we don't have anything else, then...
Also, Squirrel Girl number 3. No.
Guys, enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we'll talk to you in like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, a couple days.
Yeah, talk to you then.